This is Water Elemental.
And this is Axis. We're here today to talk about the League of Legends. This is a game that is reaching its Season 1 climax.
Which is anticlimactic at this point.
Oh, yes. Very much so. But, got a couple of things in the news this week. We got Yorick, we got sales, we got new skins, and some very somewhat depressing but understandable news regarding updates over the next few weeks.
So let's talk about that first, about the updates.
This is really the most pertinent part. All updates to League of Legends, patches, everything like that, new champions, and a big update to PvP.net. It's going to be pushed back until after DreamHack / Season 1 is over.
It makes sense because E3 is going on right now.
Yeah, I mean,
DreamHacks is going to happen, and that means that everybody at Riot essentially is either going to be at DreamHack or E3, so they're
not
split
even that.
in half.
I mean, I'm sure they have a development team that would be ready and willing to go, but there's a tournament going on right now. This is a big-time tournament, and they don't want to release new patches, new champions in the middle of a tournament, shift the metagame, mess everything up, make everyone have to re-strategize. While that would be interesting to see, I don't think they want to do that for their first time for the Season 1. I mean, it's a smart move on their part.
And if Yorick is really overpowered, that would change the metagame completely. And that's not a good thing you want to happen midway through the tournament, or everybody shifts towards this really game-changing character.
It's good for the tournament, but I think ultimately the community is going to suffer a little bit. There's going to be a lot of queue killing, a lot of people saying, I need an update, I need a patch, I want to play a new champion. Bunch of stuff like that. It'll be kind of a pain to deal with over the forums the next couple of weeks, but I understand where both sides are coming from, and I think that's something that a lot of people need to understand and come to with a level head. Just be like, okay, hey, this is something they don't want to mess with during the big tournament, during the big gaming week. But at the same time, we love new content, and starving us for new content is never a good thing.
Well, I can understand it at one point where, up till Oriana, it has been consistent updating since the launch of the game. And I can understand that after a certain amount of time, there needs to be a hiccup at one form or other, and this is a really reasonable place to do it. And it's not like we're going to us, it's going to be news light, but they have announced that they're going to trickle out information on 2 or 3 different champions before Yorick comes out at the end of Season 1. Yorick is going to be their top priority first. And it's interesting. I'm excited to see what they're going to be doing in the past couple of weeks and this major announcement at the end of the month. So
You would be.
Expect the unexpected.
Exactly.
So now let's jump into our speculation for this week. We have Yorick, the Gravedigger. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it right. So, from what they gave us...
Yeah, we've been tossing around a couple ideas all day today, so this is sort of what we think.
They said in there he's kind of a necromancer type character, and so everybody right off the bat says zombie champions, like Dirge from Dota. But we've been kind of playing around with different ideas. I don't think they would be, bringing something like Dirge, because Dirge was horribly...
He was too hectic, he was so RNG based, and it ultimately, for the amount of positioning you had to set up for him, he would either be a game changer or he would do literally nothing.
So what we were kind of tossing around was the first one where he would kind of have a passive or an ability where once he killed a minion, the minion would go under your control for probably 10 to 15 seconds up to a limit of 3.
Yeah, I mean, it would give him great lane presence, and it would make him a great jungler. Because, I mean, think about it. You kill a couple of creeps, you kill Golem's 2 little minions, all of a sudden you've doubled your damage output on Golem, just like that.
Or another one would be like something from, Diablo 2 with the Necromancer, where he put up that Bone Wall. Bone Wall would be kind of like Anivia's, Karthus' wall ability, but when they get in contact with it, it would deal damage to them, and then slow. So kind of a little bit
like a
more.
wall of pain, but with damage to it.
Yeah, it'd be kind of Wall of Pain, but if it had the blocking capabilities of like Trundle or Anivia. Nothing too overpowered, but it would be smaller, but deal more damage, and something like that. Also, probably kind of have something that would decrease stats. Something like a plague or some sort.
Well, see, something like that's kind of hard to do, because in Dota there were 3 stats. There was Agi, Strength, and Int, and you could say reduce Strength, that would reduce some damage on champions, and some things. There's no stat like that, but I do see something like maybe a Health Leech, maybe a Life Steal ability. Someone
give it to your like an ability where kind of not as powerful as something like Vladimir, but.
Or maybe not even steal from champions. Maybe you sacrifice one of your minions and it heals you.
Oh! They just got rid of that. We don't want a minion stealing thing in this.
Well, not like a lane minion, but like one of his zombies.
Well, okay, I see. One of those.
Yeah, so you sack a zombie and you get health. I see him having the ability to maybe have some sort of interaction with lane minions. Maybe a frenzy of some kind that he can put on a teammate or a zombie, I think would be cool. I see him more as affecting outcomes of battle indirectly rather than a hands-on approach.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, I would like to see him more as I buff my teammates or I buff my zombies. So that way, you can say he can be a great support, but when there's no one around for him to support, he still has that strong arm damage when he summons a ghoul or whatever.
But we don't want these minions to be so overpowered that
we don't want him.
He could be strong 1v1, but we don't want him to be overpowered 1v1.
Yeah, and we don't want to make him depend on having a zombie up either. I mean, the thing about Dirge was, sure, his Tombstone was an awesome powerhouse for him. It could change the game for him. But at the same time, he could harass with his Strength Steal ability, his Strength Step ability as well.
Explain to the people that haven't played Dota what Tombstone does.
Well, Tombstone basically converts every corpse in the area into a zombie, and it creates pretty much a mirror image of everything within range. And instead of like a replica of them, it's a ghoul. So basically, if you pop it where a bunch of people are around, a bunch of mobs running around killing stuff.
Well,
so it essentially became a giant mosh pit when you drop this Tombstone.
Well, what they could do with that, if they wanted to bring something like that into the game, instead of making them actual minions or something like that, make them, let's say, kind of like Earth's Ghost, where it'd be, it's
an unselectable
item or something. It'd be kind of like a wave or kind of like an AoE thing where they would just kind of... best way to describe it is if it's like in Warcraft, World of Warcraft, where like a bunch of ghosts pop up and you can't target them, and they would just follow one target and they would just kind of swarm. Like have 4 or 5 of them just kind of, or like a ghostly image attack one unit.
Or being even invulnerable, like the Death Knight's raise ability, where you would raise 6 people and they would be invulnerable for 30 seconds, and then they would just
woof. Yeah, something like that. Like,
and there's a lot of possibilities. None of these could come true, but this is just, this is
we've been on a roll lately.
Yeah. So I'm really hoping maybe he's got some good strong support ability, maybe a heal where he sacrifices one of his ghouls, or like a frenzy that he can cast on a ghoul or an ally. Something interesting where he can play a support role, he can play that role where he summons zombies to attack people, or that role where he can maybe poke people from range with maybe a life steal. I want him to have a multi-function, so that way he's not locked into one role, but he can do many things very well. Because the thing about pet champions is, not that I'm saying he's going to be a pet champion, but too often when you've got a new champion, they're forced into a niche role. Like, you don't want to be forced into having one way or the other. Like, if I play this champion, maybe I want to focus entirely around the pet. I want to level up that frenzy, level up that ghoul, and just pop that frenzy on them all day, and that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
but maybe some days I want to have that ghoul to just sort of distract someone, put some pressure on them while I nuke them with my ranged ability.
There's so many possibilities with this.
I'm hoping
because necromancers are, I think, in a lot of games, necromancers are really interesting.
There's more to a necromancer than his pet, and I hope that they take that into account.
There's a special note at the very bottom I just noticed here. It says, "We will be behind closed doors at E3 showing off a few upcoming champions, including Yorick and his host of undead friends. But don't worry, everything we're showing at E3 will be reproduced on the website later during E3. Since today is, in fact, the last day, and this is Thursday, hopefully we will bring up a special E3 post-production thing for Riot because we haven't heard anything and we've been keeping our eye out for it. But his host of Undead Friends. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that he's going to have an ability to some sort of undead creature. Whether it's a new model or it's just a grayed out sort of high-res lane minion to attack for me.
I wouldn't mind. They also have those... I'll actually bring up the picture right here.
I mean, technically those lane minions are constructs, so I don't know how he would raise those.
Well, in the... before... The main concept originally for the minions, they had, for the purple team, they had undead skeletons. They might actually take those old models and turn them into those.
It's possible.
I can actually bring up the picture right now and show you guys, because I found that on the on Wiki the other day. So I can bring this up and show you. But I don't know, a lot of possibilities. Tell us what you guys think. If you're excited for Yorick. Alas, poor Yorick.
We won't see him for some time, but...
Yeah. Just let us know. And what else you might see. We don't care about Monkey King, personally. So if there's any other possibilities you've heard for Champion...
We get it. It's... Hey. No, a lot of stuff's going to be coming out soon, hopefully. Even if, they aren't releasing anything, maybe we can get some cool stuff to talk about just so it's not a bland news week for 3 weeks. Let's just hope. But continuing on with this week, couple of sales this week. Coming up, actually, this weekend. Nidali made, Kassadin Deep One, and Catriona High Command. Some good-looking retro skins. Nidali and Deep One Kassadin, very, very cheap skins, very, very nice-looking skins.
If you still have those points that I gave it a while ago.
And High Command Catriona, not the greatest-looking skin, but it's on sale, so I would pick it up if you're an avid Catriona player. It's a very detailed model if it doesn't look too far apart from her.
Heck, I'm picking up the Kassadin skin because I feel like playing Kassadin and good timing, so...
There you go.
Try something new if you feel like it.
Definitely. I mean, it's never a bad choice to have a skin. I mean, just make sure you get one you like and make sure it's cheap. And new skins, Shen and Akali.
These are lore skins, technically. They were talked about in
the Fire Festival.
And they are hot, hot, hot!
Oh, no brand jokes, please.
No, that was a Fifth Element one with Chris Tucker. Hot, 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 hot!
Zzz, zzz. Stop that. No, but...
I saw both of these in-game, and they look really good.
Yeah, I've not seen either
Compared to the Nurse and the Doctor skin, I actually saw them in the same game. High detailed, you can see a lot of detail into them.
Are there any particle effects?
I didn't see particle effects, but I think Shen's dash actually has more like
a fiery trail.
I'm not 100% sure on it, but I think I saw it, but they were horrible players, but the skin looked great.
Okay.
So, I want to get some more looks into them because they look really nice.
Well, there you go. And, what else is this week? Besides the tournament stuff, guys, that's really about it. I'm not going to be watching the Season 1 stuff not too terribly closely. It'll be interesting to see who wins. If you have anybody you're rooting for, say it, because I don't really know that many people. I'm more interested in my own tier of players rather than the best in the world.
They didn't really...
As happy as I am for them, like, it's like sports, it's far away from me. I have no involvement there. There's no connection.
And I don't mind watching competitive. I like watching people play games if they give good commentary and stuff. But Freak, after a while, his commentary is kind of degrading. Like, it's just, okay, it digresses the more and more the game goes on. Because he's running out of stuff to talk about. And if there's something awesome going on at the bottom of the map, they're focused on, like, a jungler or something. So it's kind of hard to watch LoL unless you actually have control of the bit.
Yeah, I like being able to move the...
Oh, it's so hard when it's on full screen. I'm trying to move the mouse. It's like, where can I go to the... Oh, wait.
I feel like an idiot. Derp. Right, and finally, our last segment. This is our segment.
Our news, our questions, our everything.
Our questions. Our questions this week. The first one comes from our comment section. This is from Zachley11. He asks, what do you guys think of a 9v9 map? And who do you think is the best 1v1 solo champion? This is a two-parter. We're going to take that in place of our email question because no one's sending anything to it. Guys. 9v9 map. I guess it's most comparable to when they did Dota 6v6 way back in my day. It was very clustered, but then again, that was playing on a 5v5 map. I think if they had a new map for it, like you're saying, it's a 9v9 map, but it'd be very difficult to gauge because
it would be
nine
too
players.
spread out.
9 players is a lot of people. I mean, if you have 5 people on one guy, they're dead in an instant. So can you imagine having 9 people on one guy? I mean, you wouldn't be able to tank properly. You wouldn't be able to do anything properly because 9 people is too much. I could see it where maybe it was like tiered, where you could only have up to maybe 4 people on a tier,
area.
And there was or maybe 3 levels, and you could move up, but someone had to move down. Really strategic, where you had to be like, okay, we have to have these people move up. But I think for that level of coordination, you wouldn't be able to play pubs very well.
It seems it would be too complex for it.
Yeah,
if they did something like a 9v9 arena style, like Bloodline Origins type map that's not as complex, where you would get a gate and they'd be open, and then it'd be single elimination deathmatch, where if you kill someone off, another person he would be out until the next round. It'd be best 2 out of 3. So it'd be something like that. I could see it work like that, as far as you get a lot of champions, you get a Nocturne and a Mamu, and you get a range of characters. You get a Son or something, and then you just have them fight against each other, and you kind of strategically battle that way. That could work, but not really a coordinated take over positions or go for towers and push them to their base.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be a different type of game, where maybe you have to have some people on defense at all times and some people on offense at all times. But I don't think having just the traditional 9 people running around, I don't think that would work.
I don't think that a lot of people would be looking forward to defense. You know how a lot of people are very aggressive.
They'd have to make a very different game, and they'd have to make it very interesting. So I think it could work, but they'd have to put a lot of thought into it. So I don't think the game is ready for that right now. And the best 1v1 solo champion? Well, shoot, there is a lot to that question. Depends on who they're fighting. It depends on the map. It depends on what buffs they have, how late in the game.
If you want them to survive, are they better at just overall killing someone? Or are they better at surviving?
But let's just throw it up into 3 categories: best 1v1 tank, best 1v1 caster, best 1v1 physical. So, why don't you do tank? What do you think the best 1v1 tank is?
I think recently, Mordecai was coming back into that position.
I don't even think Mordecai is really a tank.
Not really, no?
I think he's a bruiser.
He's more of a bruiser now?
But yeah, he can tank, so I will give you... So you'll say Mordekaiser. I want to say Shen. Shen's got a lot going for him. Key Strike helps him back up and fight those physical carries. He's got an excellent taunt, good lifesteal, good damage prevention, and a great ultimate. I mean, even if it's not so useful in 1v1s, the ult can get him out of trouble. If that's really what
if he really needs to get out of there and doesn't want to die, he could just be like, well, that was fun. Whee!
See you guys later. So yeah, Shen's going to be my vote on that one. Best 1v1 caster? It's really hard to say because there's some that are good at sustained damage, some that are good at burst. I've never been a big fan of burst. Well, I shouldn't say that. I love burst champions, but the best mage for me has always been Karthus, just because great scouting potential, so he can't really get ambushed. And in a 1v1 situation, usually whoever gets the first chunk of damage off is going to win. So Karthus is great for picking someone off at range before they can get to him. So I'm going to give it to Karthus. But, I mean, there are other great ones out there. LeBlanc.
I was just about to say LeBlanc.
So there you go.
LeBlanc or Annie was my choices there. If you weren't going to say Annie or LeBlanc, I was going to...
Yeah, so LeBlanc and Karthus for us. And best physical? That's hard to say, because there's a lot of great physicals, but...
Let's get physical. Sorry.
But in terms of just on their own, I'm going to give it to Ashe.
I would say Jax.
Well, Jax is... Alright, I'll give you Jax on that one. But Ashe has great scouting potential, a built-in slow, good stun, great rewards if you're very skilled with her. So Ashe is just an awesome champion all around, and she only gets better as you do.
Jax, I feel kind of the same way. He's he's been kind of underpowered lately. You don't see him a lot in the metagame. But if you get cornered by a Jax alone and he can just keep jumping on you and you try to retreat or something,
Yeah,
he's going to keep you locked in that area.
He gets better as the longer he stays in combat, so he's a great sustained combat.
Even though I have kited a Jax all the way across the map as Tarek. it's fun, you know.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of those champions that I've always wanted to try.
All right. Well, that's it for this week, guys. Well, that's not it for this week, but send more questions, post them in the comments below, or send them to our email at spazticgaming@gmail.com. And I think Elemental has some words for you.
So, we were kind of still trying to build up the Rift Guild, but unfortunately we weren't able to log on this past week. So we're going to try to get that started soon, probably in the next 2 weeks, try to get more people involved with that. Just keep sending us emails or something with your names and stuff, and we'll try to get in contact with you, get the guild built. We've also been working on Terraria. We've been playing that a bit recently since we haven't been able to hop onto Rift, and we were probably planning on getting setting up every once in a while, log on for an hour, you know, get a server started, everybody hop on, build houses and stuff, and then after a certain amount of time, I'd have to shut down the server because I'm using Hamachi. But you know, every so often we can have like a weekly, everybody hops on, we have a PvP event or something. So
yeah, so cool stuff.
Best way to do that is I'll try to restart up the Facebook page, and you guys can sign up there. I'll put that in the link below, and as more people progress, we'll start doing more stuff through the Facebook page and
etc. etc.
etc. etc.
All right, well that's enough. That's enough self-promotion, guys. We appreciate any feedback you have. Again, questions.
We've
comments.
hit over 300 subscribers. We'd like to thank every single one of you, even though it's 309 now.
Yeah,
we're a little off.
Right, let's keep going. Well, we're hoping to hear from you guys soon, and take care of yourselves. This has been Axis.
And Water Elemental.
And Jolly Green.
What?
What? Oh, you're quiet.
Spectating. Today
Oh.
and today only.
Oh.
That's nice.